Hi everyone, my name is Mrs. GOEBEL and I am your child's 5th grade teacher for this year. I've already sent out a video going over all of the expectations and rules for this semester while we are in distance learning, but I just wanted to review this for you for back to school night. We went over how to add Google Classrooms onto your child's account. The majority of your children are already signed in to the accounts that they need. They will need one more account, but that will not happen until September, and I will guide them through that. If you're ever curious how your child gets onto a Google Meet, or if you yourself need to get on to ask me a question, the link code is all the way up at the top, underneath where it says Group A or Group B. Please just make sure if you're using that you click on the correct Google Classroom, whether your child is in Group A or in Group B. Here is a copy of Group A's schedule. I've sent this out through Aries messages, so you should have received it through text message, phone call, or email. It's also in your child's Google Classroom under schedules and expectations. You can find the schedules and so can they, so there's no confusion. So there's Group A schedule. Mondays and Tuesdays I meet with them from 8 to 2. Wednesdays I meet with them for an hour, and Thursdays they're independently working until the end of the day for our check-in. The opposite goes for Group B. Group B, they do independent work Mondays and Tuesdays. I check in with them at the end of the day. Wednesday I meet with them for an hour. Thursdays and Fridays I work with them until 2 o'clock, and then they have independent work. Attendance, just to go over it very quickly, I will be checking attendance every day, twice a day for students. If they are not participating or not focused for the majority of the time that I'm with them, I will mark them as unengaged. They will be marked here as in present, but there will be a note on their attendance sheet that will say that they were unengaged for the day. Cameras must be turned on at all times. I know this is a challenge for some of our students comfortability wise, and I have worked on this with them. If there is an issue with showing the camera, please just send me a quick email or let me know. Being on time is very important because we get started on our lessons exactly at 8 o'clock and right after lunch, or at the end of the day if your child is meeting with me then. These are when I will take attendance. We do take screen breaks throughout the day, so I will ask students to mute their cameras as well as their microphones, just so that we can avoid any unnecessary or inappropriate things going on screen or on the microphone. Supplies, which most of you came and picked up at the school. Students were given their Chromebook with supplies in a backpack. Some students are still missing some textbooks. You will be receiving a phone call or email from our parent liaison letting you know when you can come pick up those books. I do ask that children keep drinks and food away from their Chromebooks. If they have it near their Chromebooks, all I ask is that their hands are clean and nothing's affecting the appearance and ability of their Chromebook. I would also suggest that students plug in their Chromebooks and charge them every night, as well as during our lunch periods. That way they don't have an issue of their battery running out. Participation, just like in the classroom, it's going to be huge this year. I know some students are uncomfortable with unmuting themselves and talking into the microphone. I do give them the option to type their answers into our chat feature as part of our participation. It's very hard, but we are trying our best not to talk over others, but while muting our microphones while others are talking. And I've told the students this many times. I know it's very frustrating working online due to the lack of internet. I just want to make sure that if they are getting frustrated, that they are able to give themselves a break. They can mute their microphones, they can mute their cameras. As long as they ask me, they can take a break and come back. I just want to make sure that we are being respectful of one another and we're keeping our tone of voice calm and clear. Online behavior, I ask that the students keep their computer screen or their camera still. A lot of the wobbling and wiggling around is very distracting to others, including myself. I ask that students mute their microphones when they are not talking to the class. The chat feature is used for questions and answers only. I want to avoid students having side conversations that don't apply to anything school related. Logging off and on. So I know a lot of students have an internet issue, so I will ask them to log off of the meeting for a couple minutes and log back on to make sure that that does work, and that's okay as long as they let me know the reasoning behind it. If the students are disturbing the learning of other students, I will kick them off the meeting. This does not mean that they can't get back in. If they are kicked off, and we've had this discussion, if they are kicked off, I want them to take a minute or two to realize what they might have been doing if I've asked them multiple times, recollect themselves, and get back on the meeting. Learning environment. Clothes should always be school appropriate. I tell the students to try and keep the noises around them limited. I know it's very hard, especially if you have multiple children at home, to keep the noise down. This is why I ask students to keep their microphones muted unless they are talking. Privacy. I would like to avoid students giving house tours just because your home life is private. And I don't want to invade that space for me or any of the other students. We will have days where I'll have the students do a scavenger hunt or a show and tell, and that's when it's acceptable for them to do these things. But otherwise than that, I would like to have, if possible, have them in a designated area to where they are focused. I would like to avoid students laying in bed and doing their work just because that's not really school appropriate. Commenting on Google Classroom. So our Google Classroom is not a place for students to chat with friends freely. They can chat about the assignments or school related topics, but not about, I guess, home life, I should say, about Fortnite or what they did over the weekend. They will have a chance to discuss these things with their friends while we are on our meetings, but I would prefer them not to do it on our Google Classroom. The comments and streams are left turned on so that they can ask questions or help others with questions. If they cannot follow these rules, I will have to mute them on our chat function on our Google Classroom. Quality work, I ask the students to always do their best work. I know it's extremely hard right now with them being at home and me being here. Makes it hard for me to check their work consistently. So I did tell them that there's going to be a lot more responsibility asked of them this year to always try to do their best. Write incomplete sentences. If you ever hear me say, please use the RACE strategy, that's one of our writing strategies that we use. It's an acronym. It stands for restating the question, answering it completely, citing evidence, and explaining. I do tell my students they should do it right or do it twice. Right now, I'm still trying to learn what their abilities are, but once I get a handle of that, what their abilities are, I will know if they are trying their best or if they are just not putting enough effort in. I do tell them that if they need help, all they need to do is comment or message me in the stream, and I will do what I can either by typing back to them or meeting with them on our Google Meets. Turning work in on time. Most assignments will be completed and turned in during our screen time together, but if your child is not working with me and they're on their independent day, I do let them know that they have from 8 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon to get their work in. If they turn their work in after 3:30 p.m., it will be counted as 0 unless they notify me beforehand if something was going on at home or their internet went down. But otherwise than that, if it's not turned in after 3:30, it's going to be counted as a 0. If students are absent, it's their responsibility to turn their work in by the following week to get credit. When they need to turn in an assignment, there's a button that says turn in. Sometimes it's not as visible as it should be, but we have practiced this during our meetings together, and I feel like we have a handle on that, so that should not be a problem. Homework. I am not assigning extra homework this year just because we have a whole lot going on. As of right now, their independent days and their independent work will be counted as a type of homework grade. So whenever they have independent work, they're practicing the skills that we're talking about in our meetings like we would normally with our homework. And last but not least, I know this semester, maybe this whole year, is going to be challenging for us working separately from home. All I ask is that you give me and your child patience, grace, and exercise a whole lot of teamwork because we're going to need it. And same goes for me. I will exercise those same qualities with your child. And the internet situation. I know a lot of us we share internet with the community, and it's becoming very challenging for us to get our work done. We're trying to accommodate for all students and trying to get past that issue. It just might take some time. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please feel free to join us in our Google Meets on Wednesday, August 26th from 5 to 6 p.m. The link, or the Google Meets code, I should say, is going to be this one right here, the groups A and B. That will be open. I will have my camera on, my microphone on in case you have any questions or concerns. Your student should have this on their account. If they do not, the code is right here. If you do not have any questions and comments for me right now, but you might later, please feel free to email me at GOEBEL, GOEBEL, at eastsideusd.org, or you can call the school and ask them to patch you through to me. I'm only available to talk on the phone from 10:30 to 11:30 just because that's our lunch period. I hope to see you all at some point this year, and I wish you and your child all the best. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you. Bye.